Hello there, folks. A data pioneer from the Linux Unix Tech Channel, and today I was just sitting around, didn't have much to do, and I thought, why not install Linux Mint 19.2 Cinnamon? Take a look at it. So that's what I'm going to do. If you want to join me, come on ahead. I'm going to install and review Linux Mint 19.2 Cinnamon. Let's take a look at it. Okay, I'm in VirtualBox right now. Get my VirtualBox server set up, and I'm going to go ahead and click Machine and New, and set up the Linux Mint 19.2 Cinnamon. And so I'll give it a name, Linux Mint 19.2, and it's based on Ubuntu 64-bit. So we'll select Ubuntu 64-bit here. I want to give it a fair amount of memory. I've got 16 gigs here on the main PC, but I'll give it 4 gigs, 4096 megabytes. Let's go ahead and create that VDI. I'm going to give it probably 32 gigabytes of disk space, VirtualBox disk image space, and I'm going to set it up dynamically so it'll just grow to the 32-bit. And a gigabyte rather. And so let's go ahead and click that. And now under System, I want to untick floppy and move the hard drive up to the boot order. I'm going to hit Display here, and I'm going to give it the full 128 megabytes of video memory. And I'm going to select VBox VGA and enable 3D acceleration. All right, under storage, I'm going to select the usual, which is my ISO for Linux Mint 19.2 Cinnamon. Load that in the virtual optical disk. And I'm going to go ahead and add, I forgot to add Cinnamon to the name here. I'm going to go ahead and add that on because I want it to be called Cinnamon so I can make sure I have that distinction. For the network, I'm going to go ahead and change it for the adapter away from NAT to the bridged adapter so that it'll be on the same network. For USB, I'll give it 3.0, and let's click OK. All right, so I'm ready to go, and let's go ahead and fire this thing up. So as usual, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click View here and go to full screen. Full screen mode, I like full screen mode. I'm going to let it go ahead and boot up automatically here. All right, so it's in the boot up process right now. And we'll just wait for it to boot up in the virtual machine. All right, here it comes, Linux Mint 19.2. And hopefully it'll come up to full screen, so I won't have to install the, the usual. All right, so it is full screen, 1920 by 1080. I don't have to do anything with installing guest editions for VirtualBox. Let me go ahead and open the installer for Linux Mint. Let's just go ahead and get this thing installed on the VDI. And here it is. Here's the installer. And so it's on English. And so I'm going to go ahead and click Continue. And we're on the English keyboard, US. That's good. And we'll go ahead and click Continue here. I am going to go ahead and install, third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi. Even though this is hard wired here, connected Ethernet to the router, I do want to take advantage of the third-party graphics. And so I'm going to click Continue and let it go on. All right, and I am going to tell it to go ahead and erase the disk and install Linux Mint. So I'm going to do Install Now. And we're getting the writing the changes warning here. So if when I click continue, it will write the changes. We'll let it do it automatically. Click continue. And it says that we are in New York. That's good. It found us. And let's click continue here. And we'll go ahead and give it my name, which is Dan Calloway. And for computer name, I'm going to go ahead and call this Linux Mint, let's see, Cinnamon VM. And maybe I should stick 19.2 in there. Okay, I'll put 19.2 in. So that's Linux Mint 19.2 Cinnamon. For username, I'm going to go ahead and tell it that it's Data Pioneer. Go ahead and put in my password here and confirm it. And let's go ahead and continue. I never do the login automatically. All right, so it's copying files right now. And this is going to take a while, but I'm going to let it go on for a little bit, and then I'll stop the video and then pick it back up when it's finished. Just want you to see some of the process of how it installs using this installer. I'm not quite sure which installer this is. It might be the Calamares installer. I'm not really sure. I know it's not the Anaconda installer, but it doesn't matter. It is the installer nonetheless. And so it's copying files right now. I'm going to let it go ahead and finish the copying files process and then get into the actual install. And then I will, as I said, I don't want to have you sit through this whole thing. I'll just go ahead and pause the video and then come back when it's completed or near completion. I'm looking forward to Linux Mint 19.2 Cinnamon. It's been a while since I've visited Linux Mint. I believe this is one of the most popular distros of the Mint family, the Cinnamon 19.2. Cinnamon desktop is probably the most popular. I know for sure out on Distro Watch it is. And for the Linux Mint community, I'm pretty sure it is as well. It is based on Ubuntu, as I said, and it's a nice distro. I really like it. It's really clean. I like the desktops that you're presented with. And I enjoy using Linux Mint. It uses the Aptitude package manager, as you're familiar with Ubuntu. And so it would be no surprise to anyone using Linux Mint 19.2. And so once this thing gets installed, we'll go ahead and boot up, and we'll take a look at it, see what we got, see what all the features are that we have, and so you can join me, and we'll just take a look at it together. Got nothing to do today. I thought, hey, I don't have anything to do. Got time to kill, so let's install Linux Mint 19.2 Cinnamon. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so it's still copying the files, and it's running you through some of the features through the slideshow that it has. It's common that Linux Mint does that. So you can watch movies and videos. It's a pretty sharp video rendering here, as I understand, with Linux Mint. And the codecs are fully supported, and VLC Media Player, I believe, is the default media player. All right, so it's still copying files. And copying the files takes a while because it has to copy all these files, has to extract them all out from the ISO and lay them down on the VDI in VirtualBox, and so it takes a while. Once it gets that laid down, then it will start the install process. So it's almost finished copying the files, it says, and so we'll let it get through this phase. Once it starts the installation, gets into it just a little bit, I'll go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so it's begun the installation of the system here. And as I said, this is going to take a while. It's not going to take too long, but it is going to take a while. And when it ramps up, I'll go ahead and pause the video, and then we'll come back when it's almost completed or completed. Okay, so it's configuring apt and starting to do its thing. I'll go ahead and pause the video, and when it's just about done, I'll come back. Okay, so it's just about done now. It's running the depackage, completing the removal of packages that it doesn't need any longer, and it's installing the system and doing some other things. So we're just about finished with this install process. So I thought I'd come back and join you here and let you see what's going on. It has been about 5 minutes or 6 minutes or so. It's not been too long. It is one of the faster installs, I believe, for Linux distributions. And we shouldn't have much longer to wait here. And it is doing a bunch of things with AMD 64 processor. I have a 64-bit processor, i3 7100, 7th generation i3 Duo, 3.9 gigahertz processor, so it's pretty fast. And I'm really liking VirtualBox 6.0. I think it does a great job. Okay, so it's completed. Says that it has finished, and so I'm going to go ahead and hit that Restart Now button and let it restart. All right, so Linux Mint 19.2 is restarting. I've already removed the media, so I'm going to hit Enter. And should be coming back up now. Okay, we should be coming to a login screen here pretty soon. And I'll go ahead and enter the password for Data Pioneer. All right, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and enter the password and log in. Okay, so we've rebooted the system, and I'm looking at the desktop now. We're in Linux Mint 19.2 Cinnamon. Looking pretty good. Like the desktop, really crisp, sharp wallpaper that they have here. I'm really liking this. It's been a while, like I said, since I've looked at Linux Mint. So let's take a look and see what we have here. We've got off the right-hand side here, we've got the printers icon, we've got a network icon, we've got a volume icon, and we've got calendar. It is the 26th of August, and I can do my date and time settings if I want to here. It says it's 14:48, which is correct, but that's 24-hour time. I'm going to leave it at that now. For now, I'm not going to change it to 248. Like I said, this is just a VM. I'm going to go ahead and close that. We've got the computer icon out on the desktop, so if I double click on it, it's going to bring up the interface for the VBox CD-ROM, the VBox hard disk, and the file system. If you click on that, it's going to bring up the file system itself, which is the typical directory structure for Linux. Nothing surprising here. Okay, and then we have the home folder for Data Pioneer Home, and that is my home directory. So we've got the desktop, the documents, downloads, music, pictures, public, templates, and videos. Okay, and so let's take a look and see what this file manager is. It looks like it's Nemo 4.2.2. I like Nemo. It's really nice. It's kind of like Kaja. All right, let's click close. And let's go over and take a look at the taskbar at the bottom here, the bottom panel, and see what we have. So we have the Linux Mint menu, so let's bring that up. We've got a lot of stuff here. All applications, we've got accessories, archive manager, calculator, character map, disks, document viewer, files, fonts, image viewer, passwords and keys, Redshift, screenshot, text editor, Tomboy notes, USB image writer. So we've got an image writer here, USB stick formatter, and virtual keyboard. Really nice. Under graphics, we have the GNU image manipulation program, Pix and Simple Scan. Let me bring up GIMP and take a look at what we have. Looks like we have 2.8. Now the latest version is 2.10. So not sure why it doesn't have the latest version of GIMP, because 2.10 is the latest, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Let's get back in here. For internet, we have the Firefox web browser. Let's go ahead and bring that up and see what version of Firefox we have running. And once that loads, it's got 4 gigs of RAM. It's still pretty fast. Okay, so let's go over to the Pancake and go down to the Help and About Firefox. See what we have here. We've got Firefox Quantum 68.0.2 64-bit. Yeah, that's the latest version as far as I know of Firefox Quantum. So we're up to date there on the web browser. Looking pretty nice. I'm going to go out and I got Proton Mail here, and I'm going to select that. And this is my secure email based in Switzerland. I'm going to go ahead and log in to show you the interface, and then I'll move on. All right, let's go ahead and log in. You can set up your own free account at Proton Mail. Very secure email, end-to-end encrypted. Nobody's going to get in and look at it. Not even the people that work at Proton Mail can get into your mail. All right, so it's coming up now, and here in a few seconds we'll get that interface up. All right, here we go. All right, so this is Proton Mail. I'm going to go ahead and close it down, log out, and let's go ahead and close the browser and close the tabs here. Let's get back into the menu and go back up to Internet, and we've got Hex Chat, which is an Internet relay chat. We have Thunderbird Mail for those people who want a client for their mail. As you just saw, I use a web-based mail for Proton Mail, so I have no need for the Thunderbird. I can remove it if I want. And then Transmission, which is a BitTorrent client for Linux Mint. So if you want to do a straight download, you can do a BitTorrent download. It can be faster that way. Under Office, it looks like we have the full LibreOffice suite. I'm not a big fan of LibreOffice, so I would probably replace this with WPS or OpenOffice, something like that, or some other form of Office suite. Okay, sound and video, we have got the media player, we've got Rhythmbox, we have VLC media player, which is nice. Universal access, we have the onboard, the administration, we've got the backup tool, which is good. the disk user or usage analyzer, the driver manager, and I'll take a look at that later on down the road for that driver that I install. We've got login window, logs, power statistics, printers. We got a printer interface here, software manager. Let's click on that and see what we have. In the software manager, when it comes up, let's see what we have here. Okay, here we go. These are the editor's picks. We've got Audacity, Calibre, Spotify. We've got a full host of things here. Here are the categories that you can select from: accessories, internet, sound and video, fonts, office, just to name a few. Even programming here. So from here, you can install just about anything to your heart's desire here. A lot of these things are not installed already, and you can go ahead and install those. Linux Mint gives you a full plethora here of things to install. Software Manager is the way to do it. All right, so let's go ahead and close that. And let's get back into administration, software sources, Synaptic Package Manager. So we do have the Synaptic Package Manager already installed out of the box. System Monitor, system reports. We have the terminal. So let's take a look at terminal. So this is the terminal. I would obviously go ahead and change this for my own liking. I'm going to see if HTOP is installed. It is not, so we'd have to install it. Let's go ahead and do that. Sudo apt get install HTOP. And let me put in the password. And let's go ahead and install it. And so while HTOP, it's finished. Okay, so HTOP is finished. Let's clear the screen and let's run HTOP. All right, so here it is. And it looks like we're running 607 megs out of 4 gigs. That's not too bad. We have 99 tasks running, 176 threads, 1 task running here. Load averages are really good, 0.83, 0.65, and 0.33. Uptime of 54 minutes, not bad. This is looking pretty good for stable Linux Mint 19.2 Cinnamon. Not very memory intensive at all. We're not using any swap, so can't ask for any better than that. Let's go ahead and close this. Close the terminal. Let's get back in and see what else we have under administration. I think we were at Synaptic Package Manager, System Reports, Terminal, Time Shift, Update Manager, and Users and Groups. I'll do the full update later of the system. Under Preferences, we can do Date and Time, Desklets, Desktop, Disks, Display. Let's take a look at the display. I am running 1920 by 1080, normal resolution, so don't have to worry about installing the VirtualBox Linux editions or guest editions. All right, so I'll go ahead and close that. Let's get back into preferences, and so we are now at effects and extensions, firewall configuration, font selection, general graphics, hot corners, input method, keyboard, languages, mouse, and we got a bunch of stuff here. Mouse and touchpad, network connections, notifications, online accounts, panel. So you can change your panels here. Power management, preferred applications, privacy, and the list goes on and on and on. Themes, I'll probably get in here and change the theme later on. I kind of like this dark theme though. Welcome screen, I don't care for that much. Windows and workspaces, and so I will need to set up workspaces later. I'm not going to do it now. And so let's go ahead and get out of that. And so let's go back into preferences, and let's go down, see where we left off. Let's see, I think we were just about finished. Yeah, places, we've got those identified. Recent files, you can pull those up as well. And then the remaining part here is you've got your quit, you've got your log out, you've got your lock screen, your terminal here for favorites, you've got Let's see, system settings here. You have the software manager and you have the web browser. So our system settings, I think we've already looked at that. No, we didn't. Appearance is where I would go here. For backgrounds, let's take a look at the backgrounds that you have. Here are the Linux Mint backgrounds that we have available to us. This is the one we're on right now, it looks like. There's one called Terra, and I mean, you've got a bunch of backgrounds that you can select from here. So one thing I like about Linux Mint is you don't have to want for any backgrounds. Under Tessa here, you got a bunch of backgrounds available to us here. Really nice looking ones too, as a matter of fact. Tina, you got some of those as well. And see here, yeah, divide, yellow line. Yeah, these are really nice backgrounds. And then, of course, you can select your pictures if you have any pictures in your pictures directory that you want to use. Okay, so I believe we should be able to right-click and select Open in Terminal. And we can. And I believe we can bring that up to the top and, well, actually, it should have opened it all the way, but it didn't. That's okay. Let's do a uname -R and see what we have here. We're running kernel 4.15.0-54 generic. If we do a uname attack A, we're running Linux Mint 19 generic, and it is an x86-64 GNU Linux. Okay, let's do a DF, and this is the current setup here. How it partitioned the system for us. We did it automatically. Remember, we just told it to go ahead and do it automatically. And let's go ahead now and do a power off. I don't think power off is an option. Sudo power off. I don't think it's going to power down for us. We can try it. No, it did. Okay, so it's okay. So I hope you enjoyed the video and the installation and setup and product review of Linux Mint 19.2 Cinnamon. Enjoyed being with you today and giving you a tour of Linux Mint 19.2 Cinnamon. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoy this video, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, Linux Users Tech Channel, and hit that bell so that you get notified every time I upload a video. And so this has been Data Pioneer, and hope you have a best remaining part of your day, and take care. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.